Just kidding. The very important thing in case of blockchain is we all understand the value that blockchain is bringing in, but there's a lot of hype also. So the very first thing is to identify if your use case, what you're trying to do, is a good use case for blockchain. Because regardless, we understand it's evolving technology, but the current solutions that are available, technology solutions, of course, are much more mature. Blockchain is an evolving technology. We all understand that what blockchain disrupts the current business models, the way currently technology is used. So until and unless a use case justifies it to be deployed on blockchain, it should not be. So the very first question that comes in is that, is this particular use case a good blockchain use case? And if that is the case, then you proceed forward. That's one of the mistakes that I've seen entities making, where, okay, they have to transform, they have to innovate, bring in new technologies, but they're trying to solve certain problems with blockchain which are not truly blockchain use cases. On the other hand, a lot of use cases where provenance is required, where an asset has to be transferred or tokenized, that can only be done using blockchain. I mean, it is giving us a completely new paradigm. So the very first thing would be a selection of a good use case. The second challenge that pretty much everybody in the enterprise sector who wants to move to blockchain is facing is what protocol to go forward with. It's an early stage technology. A lot of players are innovating and working and contributing to the growth of technology, but that is causing a very interesting challenge, which is you having multiple choices, not knowing which direction to go forward to. So we are certainly seeing one classic way of doing that is my particular use case a public use case, or would it require a permission private use case, blockchain? So once that decision is done, then also we have multiple choices. So selection of technology probably is one of the biggest challenges right now, because it's an evolving industry. Certainly, the next few years, at least the next couple of years, we'll see a lot of that innovation, a lot of that evolution happening, and then we will see convergence of technology. So certainly, we do see a future very close where multiple blockchains will be there. There will be interoperability between them, just like the internet. So it's no longer a situation of multiple intranets, but an internet of those networks. So similarly, we will see a similar thing happening in the blockchain industry in the near future. Dubai had this agenda of being the happiest city on earth. We are not shying away or scared of innovating and adopting new technology. Dubai has always been one of the leaders in adopting technology. So when we looked at it very pragmatically with regards to blockchain also, and the leadership of Dubai decided that this is certainly the way to go, this is the future. His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, gave a mandate to the government of Dubai that by 2020, all transactions in the city should be on blockchain and paperless. So that started this whole journey of us bringing all citizen journeys on blockchain. So we started working with, we looked at all citizen journeys, how we can improve the citizen experience, how we can make it more happy, and how we can actually use blockchain and other emerging technologies to help that objective of, creating happiness through each citizen journey. So each interaction that a citizen has with any government service, we wanted to improve that, make it seamless and frictionless, and make it overall happy experience. So that's how we started. So we basically looked at all possible citizen journeys. We looked at areas where we can improve those, and then created a roadmap. Along with that, of course, there was this very important decision on which technology to go forward with. So we created a technology blueprint for Dubai's blockchain strategy. And then comes the very interesting question of the policy framework. So certainly when the government is adopting technology, when the government is adopting blockchain, it's a niche area. We do not have established policy frameworks in place. So we are now we developed an overall policy framework for blockchain. How would a network look like? Who would be the owners of that network? What would be the security provisions in that network? And so we created these policies, or a policy framework, and now we are actually working and collaborating with other stakeholders in developing those detailed policies. So we do expect that out of this exercise and out of this effort of Dubai will come with some policy guidelines will come out, which could be adopted by others also. The other thing which we are looking at is the legislative framework. You have the traditional things, for example, digital signatures and digital identity. We are now working on making sure that we are not only up to speed with what the rest of the world is doing, but in a way we are ready for our current legislation and different artifacts in the legal in our legal regime actually would support these paperless and blockchain initiatives. An example could be when it comes to blockchain, you have a whole new dimension of transferable assets. The legal infrastructure probably anywhere in the world at this stage may not be recognizing those transferable assets and how to handle transferable assets. So we are looking at those things. And certainly the next few years are very significant in our journey also, where we are going to update the legal infrastructure, we are going to develop and finalize these policies, while at the same time developing and building the technology infrastructure. You know, I've been in technology for like, God knows, maybe in the last 3 decades. What internet enabled, it completely disrupted of what was possible. And now I'm seeing that next wave, where blockchain, distributed ledgers are completely disrupting what is possible. You can do tokenization, you can do, I can actually own a piece of land or an asset, and whatever an investor who is investing millions could do with that asset, be it trading that asset, selling that asset, renting that asset, I as a mini investor can own a piece of that with complete security, with complete ownership and control of it, and have that opportunity of making the same kind of return. So new business models have become possible. So we see government also as a service provider. That's the beauty of Dubai, where government takes itself as a service provider who is providing services to the citizen looking for their happiness. So, completely new business models for the government are also evolving. As I was just mentioning, we have this, Dubai has recently announced its paperless strategy, where the last piece of paper issued or accepted by the government will not be beyond 12th of December 2021. So by 12th of December 2021, Dubai should be and will be completely paperless. I see blockchain as a very significant building block to achieve that vision. So, for a company, any entity which is investing in blockchain at this stage, that would be a building block for our foundation, stepping stone for innovation in the future. Certainly, it's a technology that is evolving and will evolve. There is no question in my mind that blockchain, as we know today, will be very different, the technology, the overall landscape in the next couple of years. So somebody who is in the midst of it, who is one of the leaders contributing to this technology, will certainly be a leader a few years down the road also. On this technology front, as I said, certainly a lot of convergence will happen. Right now, we are seeing different technology directions. One part is in the cryptocurrency space, and in the crypto space, there's a lot of disruption and a lot of innovation is happening in that space. But when we talk about the core technology, we are seeing currently diverging directions that industry is taking. Some of the significant players in the industry are taking different directions. So eventually we will see a convergence, which will then support inter-blockchain, which will support a lot of other use cases. Situations like I am in Dubai, Dubai is completely paperless, I don't want to have a passport issued, I'm going to some other country, they may not have the same network, but eventually this will converge. So passport-less travel, for example, it would be a reality. My ID will be accepted cross-border. I am doing a transaction in China or somewhere else, so the credentials that this government is issuing me will be accepted there. So those kind of things will happen, which will overall kind of enhance your citizen experience, or your citizen experience. Or for that matter, for example, somebody was just narrating to me a story this morning where this gentleman was in Asia and his father had a heart attack, and his father had his medical records in Eastern Europe. And when he tried to get the medical records, he could not have access to because the hospital was not willing to share those records. So he had to actually fly over, prove his identity, get those medical records, fly back, and then provide service. In a very near future, with what is happening in the identity space, what is happening in the blockchain space, that will not be needed at all. Your records, your credentials will be somewhere in a vault, accessible through an ID. You can have sharing of that ID. Different attribute providers will be there in that ID. So that will become a reality. I am seeing major disruption in the financial sector. People were having a discussion that anywhere where a middleman will be eliminated. This whole industry, technology industry, has been disrupting the poor middlemen, because we all kind of always blame the middlemen, we all curse the middlemen, but now those poor middlemen, everybody wants to eliminate them. And I was just, the irony of the matter was that, let's take Uber. So Uber, in a way, eliminated middlemen from a major industry. And now, when we are seeing this evolution of technology through blockchain, Uber is now being looked as a middleman, and Uber could be eliminated because there is no need for having an Uber network when the entire asset is on blockchain. So you're going to see major disruptions in the short term and in the longer term also.